Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes. So as you guys all know, there's one thing I hate in the NBA, and that is bitch-ass contracts, guys. You all hear me all say all the time, man. Bitch-ass contracts. What exactly is a bitch-ass contract? Well, it's a contract where a player is getting way more money than they actually deserve. It's a contract where, you know, you pay this player all this money and they don't do shit for your team out there, or sometimes they just don't do enough out there to warrant their paycheck in the end of the day, man. It's like going to McDonald's, instead of getting your normal paycheck, all of a sudden it's like McDonald's gonna pay you freaking $100 an hour to do the same amount of work as everybody else out there, right? So for today's video, we are going to go through one contract every NBA team needs to get rid of this offseason. This is an article by William Carlisle here. I'm curious what type of players are out there. I mean, yeah, somebody can predict, like Blake Griffin. As much as I do like Blake Griffin on the Pistons, I don't like his contract. It really, like, I don't know, man, hinders the team out there. But here we go. Let's go ahead and get started on this. If you guys can do me a quick favor, if you enjoy these NBA discussion type of videos, please drop a like on this video. It really does help to support the content of this channel. Alright guys, here we go. The first one we have is, no doubt, Miles Plumlee, guys, now on a 2-year, $25 million contract. Now, for one, there's like 17 Plumlees in the NBA. He might just very well be the worst one. When you have a rebuilding team like the Atlanta Hawks, in all honesty, it doesn't hurt to have a bitch-ass contract all that much because the team is still a few seasons away, so they don't really need to spend that money now anyway. Now, if he was on more of a championship contending team, then it's like, yeah, that's money that just be eaten up, you know, in the books and stuff like that. Really, the only Plumlee I can think of is, I think, Mason Plumlee. Is he still on the Denver Nuggets? I know he's a pretty solid player, but yeah, Miles Plumlee, a bitch-ass contract if I've ever seen one in my entire life here, guys. So they gave up Dwight Howard and the 31st pick. Okay, yeah, that's when they got Miles Plumlee back. Oh my God, bro. All right. Yo, what do you get out of the season, man? He had 4 points a game? He got 4 rebounds. That's okay. That's actually pretty decent, like, backup center numbers. Just not worth $25 million. Next up, we have Gordon Hayward of the Boston Celtics. This one I do not agree with. Now, I will see maybe where this person is coming from here, because he does have a, 2-year, $98 million contract with a 30-year player option. So, yeah, that is a lot of money, especially when you have guys like Jason Tatum on the team who can play the who are small forwards. They are still on rookie contracts, but we did not really know that going into the Boston Celtics season. We don't even know how Gordon Hayward is going to be on the Boston Celtics. For all we know, man, he might go out there, drop 25 points a game, and put this team over the edge and help them win an NBA championship. So this one right here, I totally do not agree with that, because it looks like the dude's kind of like calling himself out on that and everything. But no, man, I'm good with Gordon Hayward getting paid his contract. He was an all-star on the Utah Jazz. Definitely warranted giving himself a nice little paycheck out there, where you got like a freaking Mason or Miles Plumlee that don't do nothing for your team. All right, next up we have this dude actually helped me get the term bitch-ass contract, man. That is Timothy bitch-ass contract Mozgov. That is his nickname, guys. He signed a 2-year, $33 million deal. I know he was on the Lakers for a bit, and now, of course, he's on the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, once again, man, like, when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, I can actually say Mozgov was a pretty damn solid player. He was getting, like, well, like 10 points, 10 rebounds a game, a few blocked shots. Looked like a pretty decent center out there. Then all of a sudden, man, he got his paycheck, and I hate players like that, where as soon as they get paid, they just simply stop, you know, really trying out there. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe just his style of game does not really translate to the current level of the NBA. But regardless, way too much money, man. Said he got 4 points, 3 rebounds, 0.4 blocks per game. The man is 7'1". How you gonna get 0.4 blocks a game, man? Kyle Korver just got 2 blocks against the Boston Celtics on Jaylen Brown. That dude ain't meant to be blocking shots out there. All right, next up we have Nicolas Batum of the Charlotte Hornets. All right, so when he got his contract here, that was kind of that one off season where just teams were going absolutely just freaking crazy, guys. I mean, that's also when Timothy Mozgov got his contract. But yeah, teams were going absolutely crazy with the spending. They were allowed a little bit more cap out there, and oh my God, Batum, originally on the Portland Trail Blazers, was like a solid 17 point per game scorer. So at the time, it's like for a team like the Charlotte Hornets, who maybe not always are able to attract top-notch free agents out there, they're like, all right, we'll get Batum out there, kind of team up with Kemba Walker. Maybe he can, you know, be that second caliber option to this team. But honestly, man, he's had injury issues, and it's just like, for $76 million, definitely not worth it. It says he managed 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists per game. It's actually really solid. Here's kind of the downfall, was the 34% from 3. It's like when you play a small forward position, you got to be able to shoot 3-pointers. So I'm not saying he's a bad player. Just, you know, that $76 million, maybe cut that in half, and all of a sudden you got a bargain. So yeah, that's just too much right there. Okay, next up we have Cristiano Felicio for the Chicago Bulls. What happened to this man? I remember this dude got his contract. You know, people were going out there saying this guy is all potential, man. He's going to be a baller out there, and he ain't done shit, man. Like, let's be honest, guys. What is he, a 3-year, $24 million contract? That's $8 million. Yeah, $8 million a season. That's really not too bad in this era of the NBA, but the fact that he's giving you like 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist per game, in 55 games. It's like, you know, those once again okay backup center numbers. Not even that though, man. Like that's like really just like on the rim of things right there. So yeah, once another bitch ass contract. Disgusting, man, disgusting. All right, next up we have Tristan Thompson of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's got 2 years, $36 million left on his contract. So I will say, in these NBA playoffs, Thompson has kind of actually proven to me that he can still play ball out there. I mean, he's been actually an X factor for the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know, in the second round in the Eastern Conference Finals of the, you know, of the NBA playoffs. So I will give him that. Before that, it's like, yeah, he's just kind of riding the bench, not really doing much, man. He's all about them Kardashians these days, the Kardashian curse. But as of, you know, as of recent, he's been a pretty good center out there. Is he worth, you know, $18 million a season? Hell no, baby. But I could see, you know, like $9 million would kind of be more in his range, I would say. All right, next up we got Harrison Barnes of the Dallas Mavericks. Another story that's kind of sad, man. This is like, what I relate this to right there is Kyrie Irving gone wrong, because we all know Kyrie Irving left the Cleveland Cavaliers to want to lead a team, and he can do that. Now Harrison Barnes left the Golden State Warriors because he wanted to be the man of a team. He's had that chance for like what, 2-3 seasons now, and he's not been that at all. The Dallas Mavericks are in rebuild mode, man. They're tanking out there. Mark Cuban's even said himself. I mean, yeah, he's a solid 17 point per game scorer, but not the leader really want. I thought his, you know, third or fourth option role in the Golden State Warriors was absolutely perfect for him. But at the end of the day, the man wanted to get paid. Well, you got 19.6 rebounds, 2 assists. Those are nice numbers. It's just when you do that on a losing team, it kind of takes away from that. And you want guys that can not only put up the numbers, but can also lead your team, you know, in the locker room and stuff like that. Okay, next up we have Paul Millsap of the Denver Nuggets. Whoa, man. Paul Millsap has a contract with $60 million for 1 year with a second. Oh my God, bro. This dude literally, because last season he was like, did not play that much, like during the 2017 to 2018 NBA season due to injury. That man literally got $30 million, guys, to sit on his ass. Oh my God. Like, I will say, yeah, he was an all-star in 2017. That's fine and dandy and everything. But damn, dude, $30 million, like Denver Nuggets, were y'all that desperate out there? We'll see what he does next season, but he's getting kind of up there in age, and even next season, man, for $30 million, that's not going to be great. All right, next up we have my Detroit Pistons, Blake Griffin. I kind of talked about this in the beginning of the video. Yeah, because the fact that he is kind of old, he's like, well, like 29, 30, injury prone. There's no room to really improve this team, guys. Like, there really isn't. I mean, Andre Jordan, Blake Griffin, guess it's a nice front court, but we are no longer a front court NBA team. Not to mention they also had to give up their draft pick to acquire Blake Griffin and Tobias Harris, who was one of my favorite players and one of the best three-point shooting guys in the NBA. Yeah, it's an all-star player on the Pistons. Something we don't get often, but I mean, the fact about doing this trade, like, what was the mindset? Was it, yo, was this gonna help us win a championship? No, it was just probably a move to sell tickets, and it's still not even doing that. Yo, what's this contract made? Oh my God, $141 million. Next up, we have Golden State Warriors Andre Iguadala, 2-year contract worth $34 million. I mean, yeah, the man kind of earned his money before, you know, winning like Finals MVP and stuff like that, but now he's washed up, guys. Andre Iguodala is washed up, just not the player he once was. So, you know, it's one of those things where you don't really know that going into an NBA player's season. It's like, you know, before he got that contract, he was doing great. And then he got the money. And it's like, all right, now it's time for Andre Iguodala to kind of fall off a bit. And you just get stuck with a bitch-ass contract. 6 points, 4 rebounds per game, and 3 assists. Time to hang it up probably soon. Okay, next we got Ryan Anderson, Houston Rockets. Yeah, this has been a big issue for the Houston Rockets. I mean, yes, they still managed to put a really nice team together. But, you know, I know last season they wanted to sign Carmelo Anthony. They could not do that because of Ryan Anderson's contract. Nobody wants to take it on. Yes, he's a good three-point shooter, but he's so slow on defense and stuff like that. It's just his three-point shooting does not really make up for the lack of everything else he does out there. Average 5 points, 2 3-pointers a game. Okay, how do you do that, man? How do you average 2 threes, but you only get 5? No, I'm sorry, 5 rebounds. My apologies. 9 points per game. Okay, next up we got Alec Jefferson of the Indiana Pacers. I watched a lot of Indiana Pacer basketball in the postseason, and I don't remember him playing a single minute, guys. He will get paid $10 million through his 1-year deal. That's not a bitch-ass contract, man. That's not long-term enough to be a bitch-ass contract. If it's like a 1 or 2 year, I don't know. I mean, like I said, because Plumlee's was like a lot of money over 2 years, but $10 million for a season, whatever, bro. That's, you know, he's still an okay player. Next up, we have Danilo Gallinari. The reason this is a bitch-ass contract, it's not because the dude can't ball. It's because he always gets injured, man. He always gets injured. Like, I don't remember the last time I've seen Danilo Gallinari even play an NBA game. I mean, it was obviously last season and stuff, but $44 million for 2 years. That's why I don't understand is why do these injury-prone players get these contracts like this, guys? Because they don't really earn them. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, I need a player to be healthy for him to get paid the money out there. You can't show up, you know, for part-time and expect full-time money. Okay, next up we had, he averaged 48 games a season for 10 years. That's horrible. Luol Deng of the Los Angeles Lakers, man. I know them Lakers are going to be doing whatever they can to get this man off their squad and off their payroll this NBA offseason, because they are going for some big name players. And Luol Deng, they have been trying so hard to get this man off here, but it just has, who's gonna take on this contract? 2 years, $37 million. The only way I see this happening is if a rebuilding team takes on the contract and the Lakers throw in a first or maybe two, protected first round draft picks, something along those lines. Only way it's gonna happen. Okay, next we got Chandler Parsons of the Memphis Grizzlies. Parsons actually did have a pretty decent season. Like he did okay. He had some pretty good minutes out there, but for the most part, not as good as like his Houston Rockets days. Got that 2 year, $49 million contract. Another player where it's like, he put up the numbers on Houston Rockets, went to this team, got paid, got injured, and it just was not really worth the money they gave this man. Miami Heat, Kelly Olynyk. Okay, what's this, man? He's got a 30-year play option. It's worth $35 million, which is roughly like what, about $12 million a season, give or take. See, this one I don't consider a bitch ass contract, because like $12 million for a really solid role player is definitely not bad. He's had some nice minutes on this team, guys. Like in the playoffs, he was doing pretty good things out there. He's still extremely young. Put out 12.6 rebounds per game. That's pretty good. It says what he got with 2.7 points and not much more in the playoffs. Okay, whatever, man. But I think he's a good player. A 7-foot guy that can shoot 3-pointers and do a few things out there, man. Put the ball on the floor sometimes. That's not a bitch ass contract. Next up, we got Matthew Dellavedova for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think this dude has scored a basket in the NBA. Dating back to his Cleveland Cavalier days, man. Like, he's just another player that was a that was kind of got his contract because of doing so well for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's like the Bucks were like, yo, man, give me this point guard out here. This dude's a hustler out there, man. Does some good things. And then it just went to the Bucks, and he had a few good playoff series with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's about it for this man's career. He's still a pretty good defender, though. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Bismack Biyombo on the Orlando Magic. Got a really good contract because he had like one good playoff series for the Toronto Raptors. What this man got? 2 year, $19 million. Okay, next up we have Gargui Dieng. I always pronounce this dude's name wrong. I always get surprised when I see this man's contract. 3 years for $49 million. Like, what was the mindset behind signing him? He plays the center position just like Karl-Anthony Towns, so it's not like you're signing him to be like the future starting center of this team, because that's Karl-Anthony Towns, playing simple, unless he gets traded, which won't happen. But yeah, that was a lot of wasted money for a guy that, well, yeah, he's a good player, but he definitely warrants like bench role player money, not starting center caliber money, which is exactly what he got. Okay, next we have Solomon Hill for the New Orleans Pelicans. Man, the Pelicans, you want to talk about a team that gets some bitch-ass contracts? Look no further, man. They had Omer Sheik on the team. I think he's on the Bulls now, though. Solomon Hill, E'Twaun Moore, but, Moore's actually done pretty solid out there. Probably some other players that I can't name out there. Solomon Hill, though, $26 million over 2 seasons. I know it was larger than that, I believe, at the time. Put up 2 points a game and 3 rebounds. Congratulations, man. Is that worth $13 million a season? I guess the Pelicans think so. Joakim Noah of the New York Knicks. There's much more to be said about Noah, guys, that hasn't already been said. We all know about Joakim Noah. We all know about... Damn, it sucks too, man, because an actual prime Joakim Noah was such a beast. Like, defensively, man, that guy was unstoppable, brought the hustle out there, and it would have been cool to watch him play with Kristaps Porzingis. We never got it, though. It's just unfortunate, yet this man is just stealing money every single day. But, he's out there living his life. I saw some footage of him, like, out, like, in the jungle or something like that. So, good for him at least doing that, I guess. OKC Thunder, Andre Roberson, 2 year, $20 million contract. This one I kind of disagree with, because the OKC Thunder were a lot better with Andre Roberson in the game. I mean, he does not really warrant the ball a lot, to be effective. He does all his things on defense, which is what Russell Westbrook needs. He needs players that will do everything except warrant the basketball or need the basketball. So for $10 million for a really good defender out there, I don't think that's too much to pay him. But yeah, he went down with injury, so that sucks. But yeah, also grabbed some rebounds. The points per game, you can't really fault him for that. He's just not a scorer. He's like a Tony Allen, right? And we got Bismack Biyombo. Not going to go too much farther on him, man. I already talked about him earlier, saying that he had one good playoff series, got a huge contract from the Orlando Magic, and has done nothing since with that, except get paid $34 million. Okay, next we have Jared Bayless of the Philadelphia 76ers. He has a 1 year, $9 million contract. I believe it was a player option at a time. But yeah, Jared Bayless, another player where it's just like, it's time for him to retire, you know. Back in the day, he was like a solid role-playing point guard, guys. I mean, this dude could score the basketball, and that's something maybe the Philadelphia 76ers thought he could have been for this team, like a veteran point guard. But of course, they went in the direction of TJ McConnell for their backup point guard, and that's been fine. I'm sure this guy could still play some pretty decent basketball, but he's just, you know, he's the third string point guard. So got himself, what, 8 points, 2 rebounds, and a 1.4 assists per game. 37% from 3. Those are still decent numbers for $9 million. Look for a third stringer. You know, that's not going to help teams out, or that's not going to help your team out. Next, we got Phoenix Suns' Brandon Knight. You know, when this man's not getting dunked on, he's out there getting injured, guys. Yes, Brandon Knight, going back to the Detroit Piston days, I remember him on there, just like a streaky scorer. Not really anything special, man. You know, what do you get? He got $30 million for 2 seasons. This season, missed every single game. That's not really his fault. He got injured and stuff like that. The year before, though, he put up 11 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds per game. Those, once again, good backup point guard numbers, man. Like 11 points, that's some good scoring out there. But not for $30 million, especially on a team that's like, yo, they're trying to get some big-time players out in Phoenix. So we got Evan Turner on the Portland Trailblazers. He was very nice on the Boston Celtics. I was actually surprised he left the Celtics team. Just once again, man, another team that's just victim of the circumstance. And Evan Turner, he got his payday. He's like, all right, I'm not going to try too hard. You know, I got my $36 million. Like, what's the point now? And what can you do at that point, right, guys? Zach Randolph of the Sacramento Kings. Zebo, $12 million over next season. I think it was like a $36 million contract at the time with either a team or a player option, something like that. It might have been 2 years, $24 million to the Sacramento Kings. But yeah, I don't know if you guys remember this. Like, last NBA offseason, the Sacramento Kings went for like a lot of veteran players. Like, their idea was to mesh the veterans with the rookies and stuff like that, which honestly is not that bad of an idea because these guys can teach the young bloods how to ball. But I mean, from a championship or trying to make the playoff standpoint, it wasn't going to happen with no Zach Randolph or even Vince Carter, who got like a $16 million contract. San Antonio Spurs, Pau Gasol, 2-year, $32 million contracts. Gasol these days is a backup center at best, man. Very slow on his feet, you know, but he did put up 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Also, he's got a career high in 3-pointers made with 0.6 threes a game. I still think he could do something for an NBA team, but not for $16 million a season. You know, that's money that he deserved. I mean, probably a bit more than that, you know, back when he was really in his prime and stuff like that. But, you know, that's money for a six-man player out there or a starting caliber center that's really going to be a difference maker. Pau Gasol, good player, not a difference maker at this point of his career. Toronto Raptors, Serge Ibaka, 2 years, $45 million. Pretty much just a stretch big out there now. Really settles for the jump shot a lot. Not as athletic as he once was, you know, back when he played for the OKC Thunder. Not as good defensively as he once was. Averaged, 12 points, 6 rebounds, had a career low in blocks, and 1.3 a game, which is actually not too bad, you know, all things considered. Like, getting over 1 block per game is still pretty damn impressive in the NBA these days. But yeah, just like, not really that good, solid third option for the Toronto Raptors. Number 2, we got Alec Burks for the Utah Jazz, $11 million for 1 season. It was probably larger than that back when he got his contract. Put up, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist per game. I know, like, you know, when Gordon Hayward got traded, a lot of people thought this man right here was really going to step up and be a big-time player for the Jazz team, or at least a nice role player. Not even really that. It's Donovan Mitchell's team now, and guess what, Alec Burks? You are getting Donovan Mitchell's money. And then finally, we have the Washington oh my God. Do not get me started, Ian Mahimi, guys. This is the most trash-ass center in the NBA. Not only do you have a $31 million bitch-ass contract, I believe it was $48 million last year, but you are also, you can't even get a starting spot over Marcin Gortat, who was like the weakest center in the NBA. Yeah, man. You got 15 minutes a game at about 5 points, 4 rebounds, 0.5 blocks per game. Absolutely trash for $31 million over 2 more seasons. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below what the biggest bitch-ass contract on your team is. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out.